So we begin with this list of 100 irregular verbs. There are more than 100 high-frequency irregular verbs, but these are the ones I've seen most used in the English classes. In any case, you're going to see that the download of the list and everything else is in Word documents. So if there are verbs that you use in your class that don't appear here, go ahead and exchange them. You can also change the language of the translation so it fits the dominant home language of your students. All right, so you see the first important difference in this system is that the 100 verbs are divided into groups of 20. Why? Well, because I see teachers all the time saying, take the list of 100 verbs home and memorize them. Well, that's really challenging. But for me, when I did this with my students, 20 at a time was absolutely doable. All of a sudden, it was a short list, it was a chunk, it was like scaffolding high-frequency verbs. You know I love that word, scaffolding, and it works. You can decide how much time to focus on each of these groupings of 20. I usually spend maybe 4 to 5 hours on each group and then go to the next, and after the fifth one, I loop around to the first one again. You'll also see that each group has a color. Well, I respond really positively to colors, and so most of your students are going to as well. It just changes the mood a little bit instead of the black and white all the time of the worksheets. It's also much easier to keep organized once you include the PowerPoints and the flashcards. They're all color coordinated. But I have seen many teachers work with the whole set in black and white, so whatever you decide is absolutely fine. It's the system, it's the dynamic, it's the set itself that's really important, all right? So next, I've taken these lists and made flashcards out of them. These pages actually turn into flashcards. Here are the piles of flashcards that I made for myself, and you can see they're really well worn. I've used these for years. I've never had to change them. I did laminate them. Now I do not laminate things. I really have a lot more respect for plastic, but I did laminate them, and for this reason, I think that they've lasted a long time. It's going to take you a little bit of time the first time. They'll last you for years. And you can see that one side is English and the other side, in this case, is Spanish because I live in Spain, but whatever the dominant language and home is of your students, that's what you put on the other side. You can also see I have these two lovely neighbors, and they modeled the flashcard activity for me. So first, she's reading the English, and then she'll say the Spanish.
Coser, coger, saber, perdonar, morder.
Now her partner turns it around. She sees the Spanish. She says the English with the 3 conjugations. Let's listen.
Okay. Coser, sew, sewed and sewn. Coger, took, take, took and taken. Saber, know, knew and known. Perdonar, forgive, forgave and forgiven. Morder, bite, bit and bitten.
So now let's get into the PowerPoints, because what I would recommend is that you begin with the PowerPoints maybe just once or twice or continually, and in this way the students will understand what the dynamic is. But then, and this is my priority, to create an atmosphere of student agency, ask the students to print them out themselves at home. You don't have to do this for your students. Give it to them, send it home. They can either write them or they can print them. Whichever one is absolutely fine. Writing them actually helps a lot. They just come to class or go home, cut up 20 different pieces of paper, write English on one side, and then their dominant home language on the other side. And then when they come into class, you get them used to it. It's just a routine. They come in, they sit down with their partner, they pull out their set of 20 verbs, whichever color you've all decided on, and they spend those first 5 minutes testing each other. You're going to see that they get into the routine. They like it because they have more responsibility and more independence. And again, you can change the background if you want, you can change the font, whatever helps you feel ownership of this activity. The important part is that it's rapid fire and that the students do it in chorus and that you're compassionate, which I'm sure you are, because that's why you chose this set. This will all equal confidence in the end. Okay, you ready? Okay, so here we are with the red PowerPoint. We begin, and this is rapid fire again. They see beat, they all say beat, and then the whole class in chorus says batir. okay? Because English to Spanish is going to be easier than Spanish to English at first. The second part is Spanish to English, okay? So they see burn and they all shout out arder. Muy bien, okay? Come, venir. All right? Dream, soñar. All right, so we go through this, and remember, it doesn't matter if some of them aren't saying anything. If they're just looking, they're looking at the screen, they're listening to their classmates, they are learning. It's a beautiful dynamic. So we've done the 20 from English to Spanish, and now we're doing Spanish to English, or whatever dominant home language where you teach. So now we have batir, and now they need to say the English and conjugate it. So it's batir, and let them all think, okay, beat, beat, beaten, and then show it. Perfect. Now everybody knows, even if everybody didn't say it. The next slide is arder. They need to think of the English and conjugate it. Burn, burn, burnt. All right, so the PowerPoint is doing everything for you. You just need to get your students all excited about it. And remember, in chorus, we don't want to embarrass anyone. We don't want to put any of our students on the spot. This is a time when we are letting them learn from each other. It really is wonderful. If you can do this, it works beautifully, and you're going to see your students feel so much better about this. Venir, come, came, come. Beber, drink, drank, drunk. And you've done the PowerPoint. 5 minutes, and then you stop and go about your lesson. So that's it. I think you're going to be so excited about this set of irregular verbs, flashcards with sparks. You're going to see the confidence of your students go up. You're going to be relieved because all of a sudden they're going to be participating more. I mean, it is a win-win situation. Send me comments, send me your experiences, send photos if you want, videos. I would love to see them. Have fun and congratulations.